Hi, I'm Lynn Fox, and today we are going to be looking at TESA interaction number 6, which is courtesy. Now, once again, I always keep going back to the other interactions because we do have to build on those. We practice them for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then we add something new and we go back and we make sure we're doing the same ones that have created a positive effect on our teaching as well as our students' learning. So we're on number 6. We're in strand C again. So this is our second time to focus on strand C, which is personal regard, that affective aspect of student interaction between teachers and students and students and students. So today we're looking at courtesy. And what does courtesy mean? Well, in my opinion, it is very similar to respect, as well as to good etiquette and being nice to one another, whether you're a teacher to student or students to students or back students to a teacher. So a couple strategies. One is just using simple etiquette. The good old please and thank you, would you do something versus telling a student to do something. Especially with adolescents, they really appreciate it that you are asking them to become engaged instead of always saying, do this. With younger students, sometimes they need to know that just please go take care of the business. Another thing that's important is for you to model respect to your students as you would ask them to treat you with respect. For example, if you have a problem with students, don't yell across the room at them. And the students will say, oh, she was yelling or you were making this mistake and they didn't like it. Well, I think the important thing is that you would go over and you would talk to them privately or in such a way that is respectful, but requesting what it is you want. And if they don't, then there are consequences to be paid. That's it. So don't get into, this bickering and all the negative that goes along with that. Another thing that I feel is needs to be addressed is when you, as well as your students, make a mistake. That in your classroom, it is very important for people to acknowledge it and to work through it and hopefully correct it. So when you are making a mistake and you recognize it, then it's important to just be upfront about it and say, I'm sorry, or I did make this mistake and I'd like to correct it on the spot. The last thing that I think is really important in this area, at least in the top 6 ideas, is that when students or yourself make a mistake, that there's an opportunity to make amends and also for it to be resolved in such a way that it's not carried with the relationship that you have with the student or students have with one another, that there's sort of an amnesty at one point when they do make the correction. It's over, done, and thank goodness it is. So on that note, I'm going to have Sandra share some of her great ideas with you.
Again, we're talking about courtesy. And in the very beginning of our book, on pages 15 and 16, there's a visual that I think is very important. And it shows 2 ribbons, 2 reward ribbons. And it says, you, the teacher, are a winner, and you, the student, are winners. Because the truth is that all students want to feel good about themselves. And so something like when you come into the classroom, especially if you're a sub, today I would like to see all of you treating each other with respect you would like to receive. Let's all work on being helpful to others and cooperating with me. And this is a very important piece whenever you're dealing with collaborative or cooperative learning. And it's one of the rules, no put downs. Students don't treat each other very well. And so the idea that you're modeling it and demonstrating it is very important. Secondly, in collaborative, cooperative learning, there are two purposes. The first is academic, and the second is to teach social skills. And this is something that the older students get, the more they need this. And you need to give them, offer them the respect they deserve, as well as they treating each other well. It's a give and take. And it should be distinguished from flattery. It's not flattery or just being phony, but it's important. And the way you greet students would be an example of your willingness to treat them with respect and with the idea, let's be successful today, and let's feel good about what we are able to accomplish in the classroom. Dignity. Now, I don't know if that's really talked about a great deal, but everyone deserves dignity. And with proximity, I think we mentioned that there are people who have tactical defensiveness about people getting into their space. And that's a really hard one if you don't know students. So respecting their time, their space, and their belongings, if you offer that to them, they're likely to give it back to you. So on that note, I hope some of these ideas have been helpful.